Hi guys, welcome to day 2 of our proportions unit. I know it says unit 5. Whatever. So today we're going to be focusing on our percent proportions. Okay? Now they have a very simple setup, like it's a normal proportion, so ratio versus ratio. And because we are doing percents, that percent is always one of our ratios. So whatever the percentage is, we're always going to put over 100. That's a given one if they give us the percent. We already filled that out. The other ratio is going to be the part amount versus the whole amount or total amount. Okay, so parts could be like certain color. It's like a category maybe within the whole thing. So if I was talking about kids in the class, we could do like blondes would be part of the whole class. Brunettes could be part of the whole class. We could do different ages. So if like we had 12-year-olds versus the whole class, 13-year-olds versus the whole class, kind of thing like that. So parts are going to be like one specific group. Whole is everything. Okay. So we're going to do M&Ms for our first couple of examples. So in a regular bag of M&Ms, there are these colors, and this is the percentages for each of the colors. So there's 15% of the bag will be red, 20% is orange, 15 is yellow, 20 is blue, 20 is green, 20 is blue, and 10% is brown. Okay, so we just got a bunch of percentages. Here's the first question. If we buy a bag of M&Ms and there are 60 candies in there, how many will be orange? So orange is a specific group, so that's the part they're asking, where 60 candies, that's including everything, that would be our total. Okay, so they're asking us what's the part amount, and we have the whole or total amount. We also have the percentage, because we're talking about orange. We know it should be 20%. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set up our proportion. So just as a reminder, it's always percent over 100 equals the part over the whole. Okay, so we have a percent is 20. So that's going to go over 100. We don't have a part amount because that's what they're asking us to find. So for now, we're just going to put an X. And then for the whole amount, we do have a whole amount. The total is of 60 candies. So now that we have our proportion set up, we can go ahead and solve the proportion by using that cross multiplication that we did last class. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 20 times 60 gives me 1,200. And 100 times x gives me just 100x. So I'm going to move that right up here. So 100x equals 1,200. Now, because it's set up like an equation when there's no more fractions and everything, we can just solve the equation using the inverse operation. So how do I get this x by itself? Currently it's being multiplied with 100, so I need to undo that and do the inverse of dividing by 100 on both sides. So the 100s will cancel out, leaving just the x. And then 1,200 divided by 100 ends up giving 12. Now, every time I have a word problem, I should be giving a word answer. So we can say, go back to the question, how many will be orange? 12 M&Ms will be orange. That's what we want to give as our answer. Okay? All right, I would pause the video and give this one a try on your own, and then we can go over it, okay? All right, so for this one, it says if I wanted 45 yellow M&Ms to decorate cupcakes, how many total M&Ms will I have to buy? So how many little candies will you have to buy? Well, we have a part because yellow is one specific group of M&Ms. So we do have a part. no question mark. That's for sure. They're asking how many total, so we don't have the whole. That's what they're asking about. Okay? We do, however, let's see if I can scoot it up a little bit. We do have a percentage though for the yellow. It's 15%. So again, we're setting up this proportion. Percent over the 100 equals the part over the whole amount. Okay, so we go ahead and set it up. Our percentage was 15. So 15 over 100. The part was 45 because that's a specific group. And the whole, we don't know. That's what we're trying to find. So we're just going to put an X to hold that place. So now that we set up our proportion, we can start by making an equation using cross multiplication. Okay? So 15 times X is just 15X. 45 times 100 is 4,500. Remember, you can use your calculator for this. So here's our equation. Now that I have an equation, I'm going to go ahead and solve. So I'm just going to pop it over here so I have more room. 15x equals 4,500. So again, I'm just going to solve for the x. So 15 times x, I need to do the inverse. Divide by 15 on both sides. 15's cancel out, leaving just x equals, and then 4,500 divided by 15 gives me 300. So you will need 300 M&Ms. Okay? So you'll need to buy 300. All right, let's go on to another example. Steph Curry made 92% of his free throws. If he attempts 400 free throws this year, how many will he make? Okay, so we have a percentage, which is great. All right, attempts. So attempts, like there's only two options when you make an attempt, when you throw the basketball. You either make it or you don't. So makes are a specific group, misses are a specific group, but the attempts is everything. So attempts, that's my total, okay? And they're asking how many will he make. Making it is a specific kind of an attempt. So that is our part that we have to find. Okay? So again, we're setting up this proportion, the percent over 100 equals the part over the whole amount. All right, so we can go ahead and fill in what we have. So we have a percent of 92 over 100 equals the part, we don't know. We don't know the makes versus the misses. So that's what we're trying to figure out. So that's going to be our variable. But we do know he tried 400 times. Okay? So that's what we're going to fill in. So now we can go ahead and cross multiply. So 92 times 400. I'm just going to do it over here. That'll give me 368,000. And then we'll do x times 100, and that just gives me 100x. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and solve for the x. So 100 times x means I need to divide by 100 on both sides. Ooh, that's a lot. Did I put too many zeros on here? It's not that. It's 36,800. There we go. All right, so I divide by 100 on both sides. I just get x equals 368. So remember, we have to answer this question. How many will he make? He'll make 368 free throws out of the 400 he tries. So he'll miss a couple, but not many. Oh, you can't see it. Here. There you go. Alright, try this one on your own. Alright, so for this one, Kevin, oh, my students corrected me so hard because I said it wrong. I think it's Durant. I think. Made 88% of his free throws, so that's important. We need that percentage. If he makes, so making them is a specific kind, so that's part of it. How many did he attempt? So the attempts are everything. So that's the total. And that's what they're asking us about. That's what we don't know. So we're going to have to find that. So again, we're starting with setting up our proportion where it's going to be percent over 100 equals the part over a whole amount. Okay. Ooh, my whole paper moved. So we're going to put all the numbers in. So we have our percent is 88 over the 100. We have our part amount, which is what he made, 396. But we need to find out how many he actually attempted. So that's what we don't know. So we're just going to put a variable to hold its place. So now that we have our proportion, we can go ahead and solve for the x by cross multiplying first. So this will just give us 88x. And then the other one, 396 times 100, will give us 39,600. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by the 88. 88's cancel out, so I get x equals, and then I go ahead and do this math in my calculator. I get 450. So I know x equals 450, so how many did he attempt? He attempted, ooh, ran out of room. He attempted 450 free throws. Okay. Let's go ahead and flip it over, try some more. For number 5, in public libraries, fiction books make up 30% of all books. So that's kind of important, the percentage there. There are 150,500 books in the George Mason Regional Library. So all those books in the library, so that's our total. They didn't tell us about specific kinds. They said there are books. They're asking how many are fiction. So that's our specific kind. So that means that's the part that we don't know because they're asking about it. So we're filling in this format again. Percent over 100 equals the part over the whole amount. All right, so let's go ahead and fill this sucker in. We got percent of 30 over that 100 equals the part that we don't know, because that's the specific kind of book, the fiction ones. So we don't know, so we're just going to put an X over the total or the whole amount. These are all the books they have in the library. So we're going to go ahead and write it out. Now we can go ahead and start solving for X by first cross multiplying to make it into a normal equation. So this 30 times 150,500 comes out to be a very large number. Hold on, I got to double check. Comes out to be 4,515,000. And then over here, I'm just going to cross multiply. So 100 times x, it's just 100x. And you could have these two sides flip-flopped. You could have the 100x over here and the 4 million thing over here. Totally fine. Won't make a difference. So now we can solve for x. So 100 times x, I do the inverse and I divide by 100 on both sides. So the 100s cancel out. I get X equals, and then this becomes 45150. So 45,150. And the question was, how many are fiction? So 45,150 books are fiction, or fiction books. Okay? That's how many they got. All right, you guys can try number 6. All right, so for number 6, Avengers costumes made up 4% of the Halloween costumes sold in 2021. If there are 625 students at Beech Tree Elementary School, how many were Avengers for Halloween? So we got our percentage. They told us there were 625 students at Beech Tree. They didn't tell us anything specific about those students. They just said they were there. So that's our total. Okay. How many were Avengers? So how many dressed up as an Avenger for Halloween? That's a specific part. So that's the part that we need to look for. Okay. So we're filling in our proportion. This one again. So I'm going to do the percentage was 4 over 100 equals the part we don't know over the total was 625. So I can go ahead and make my equation by cross multiplying. 100 times x is just going to be 100x equals 4 times 625 comes out to be 2,500. I'll go ahead and solve for the x by dividing by 100 on both sides. They cancel out, so I get x equals 25. So 25 students dressed as an Avenger. That's kind of cool. Lots of Iron Mans, I think. All right, number 7. Superhero costumes made up 6% of all Halloween costumes sold in 2021. If there are 550 students at Bailey's Elementary School, how many superheroes, or how many were superheroes for Halloween? So, we have our percentage. We have 550 students at that elementary school. We didn't hear anything specific about them. So that would be our total. And then they're asking how many of those kids were superheroes. So that's what they're asking. What was the part? Okay. How many kids at their school became superheroes? Shouldn't be more than 550 because that's how many they have. All right. The part's always going to be the smaller number. So we're setting up our proportion. This is the format. Percent over 100, part over whole. So the percent was 6% over 100 equals our part, which we don't know because those are the superheroes. We don't know how many. Over the 550 students that were there. Okay, so now we can make our equation so we can solve for x. So I'm going to cross multiply. 6 times 550 comes out to be 3,300. And 100 times x is just going to be 100x. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve for my x by dividing both sides by 100. So we get x equals 33. So 33 students were superheroes for Halloween. All right, last one. At the Natural History Museum, 40% of visitors were children. There are 36 children in the museum. How many visitors altogether were at the museum? Okay, so we have our percentage. Okay, and then we had 36 children at the museum. Is that all the kind of, bleh. When you think about who's coming to the museum, is it only going to be children? So would that be a total? Or is that only part of the people that came to the museum? Children are part of the people. They are not the whole. Okay? This museum allows adults in too. So this is our part amount. How many visitors altogether? Altogether was your clue that you have more than just this. Okay? So there's more. So we're looking for our whole amount because we don't know how many visitors there were total. 36 doesn't seem like a lot of visitors, so it doesn't really make sense either. Okay, so we have our percent over 100 equals the part over the whole amount. So we've got our percentage was 40 over 100 equals the part was 36 over the whole we don't know. So we got to solve for it. So we're going to go ahead and multiply. 100 times 36 gives me 3,600 or 3,600. And 40 times x is just going to be 40x. Now I'll solve for x. Divide both sides by 40. Those will cancel out, leaving x by itself. This becomes 90. So 90, they had 90 visitors total. Okay. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to your teacher and let them know. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Okay? Bye.